Good morning. It's good to be in the house of the Lord. If you would open up your Bibles to Ruth chapter 3 and join me in Ruth chapter 3. It says, Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, that's Ruth's mother-in-law, said unto her, My daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? She has taken such good care of Naomi that Naomi wants to now take care of her. And she's doing it according to their traditions. And now is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose maidens thou wast? Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. She'd already scoped out, found out the news. The news was he's going to be winnowing all of his barley, this huge pile. It's a lot of labor intensive to break off the bran. Today we eat the bran in boxes. Back then they let the wind carry it off. So she gives her instructions. Naomi says, Ruth, wash thyself therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, your good clothes, and get thee down to the floor, but make not thyself known unto the man until he has done eating and drinking. And it shall be when he lieth down that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie, and thou shalt go in, uncover his feet, and lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do. Now this seems kind of bizarre in our own, way of thinking. She's going to go down in the middle of the night with a man she's not married to, uncover his feet, and get down there, and he's going to tell her what to do. Sounds kind of hinky, but this was actually one of their ways of life. And so it was known that means she was asking him for permission in marriage. Just one little catch, though. Naomi's matchmaking could go down the tubes, but we'll see how this all goes, because number one, Ruth has to be accepted, right? She has to do things the right way. She has to be accepted. If she's found out, she's going to get kicked out. Then, as we'll see in a minute, as Boaz has also said, there's someone who is closer in relation than Boaz, and he actually has the right to redeem Ruth and the land and Naomi. Okay, so, well, she went down unto the floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her to do. She was an obedient daughter-in-law. So when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn. You can just get this feeling of this large pile of kernels that they had winnowed of the barley harvest. And she came softly and uncovered his feet and laid her down. It came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself and said, Behold, there's a woman at my feet. What's going on? Oh, wait, that's kind of our custom. Let me, And he said, Who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thine handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. And that makes him know that she understands the customs and that she is obeying the customs and asking for him to be her levirate, redeemer, kinsman redeemer. And he said, Blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed me more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not the young men, whether they are poor or rich. You didn't go after young ones, you went after me. Wow. I'm older, but he's well off, well-to-do. He's got a great reputation. So it says, And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to thee all that thou requirest. For all the city of my people doeth know that thou art a virtuous woman. Now, this is before Solomon's time, but a virtuous woman is what? Precious above even that of rubies. Proverbs 32. Now, it is true that I am thy near kinsman, howbeit there is a kinsman nearer than I. So it says, Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning that if he will perform unto thee the part of a kinsman, well, let him do the kinsman part. But if he will not do the part of a kinsman, as the Lord liveth, lie down until the morning. He says, I will do that part of the kinsman to thee, as the Lord liveth. So lie down until the morning. So she did. She slept probably fitfully, who knows. She lay at his feet until morning, and she rose up before one could know another. Still kind of twilight. They couldn't make out. She boogies. And as she's trying to leave, he said to her, let it not be known that a woman came under the floor. I don't want this to get out. I want everything to be on the down low. And he said, bring the veil that thou hast upon thee, and hold it. And when she held it, he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her, and she went into the city. Why did he do that? We'll find out here in a minute. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, who art thou, my daughter? And he told her all that the man had done to her, said to her, told her he was going to do. And she said, these 6 measures of barley gave he me, for he said to me, go not empty unto thy mother-in-law. It was a necessary thing. It was for them to eat. It's more provisions and helps them. And then said she, Naomi says to Ruth, sit still, my daughter, until thou know how the matter will fall. For the man will not be in rest until he has finished the thing this day. So we get a picture of the day dawning. He goes about his business. Then he heads up to where all business was transacted. It's not the courthouse steps, but it's the gates of the city. Okay. So then went Boaz up to the gate, sat him down there, and behold, the kinsman whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, here, you sit down here, here. Of course, he's having to give them some something, some barley for their time. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that has come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land which was our brother Elimelech's. When God works, he's always, does it according to his plans, right? We don't always understand what he's doing in the background. So this nearer kinsman than Boaz is certainly, it's like, wow, yeah, that's a great piece of land. I'll take it. He said, and I thought to advertise to thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants, before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know, for there is none to redeem it beside thee, and I am after thee. And so he said, I will redeem it. Now Boaz was a little tricky in this, because he left the best part for the end. Verse 5, then Boaz said, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. Now, this nearer kinsman probably is thinking that my wife is going to say, over my dead body, are you going to have a Moabitess in our household, and you're going to have babies with her? And you're going to mix up the inheritance that my children have with her children's stuff. And it just, he knows the score. And so the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar my own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. Now, one other custom, very interesting. It says, now this was the manner in the former times in Israel concerning the redeeming and concerning changing. For to confirm all things, a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel. That was a sign. Later on, it became a handshake, right? I mean, in my own time, you could buy a tractor, you could buy a car on a handshake. No paperwork. You're going to pay. It was your name, meant something. Today, you got about, 4 inches thick papers. You got to sign, fill, initial, this, that, and the other, bank, insurance, all kind of stuff. It was understood you were going to get insurance, understood your license. It was understood you were going to get all the stuff that you needed back then. Well, today, not so much. Well, verse 8. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe And Boaz said unto the elders, unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's, of the hand of Naomi. And just to make sure that you have this clear, moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife. This is the first time it says who was married to whom, by the way. I was always wondering whose Ruth's husband was, but it was Mahlon. He says, moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, so that we plan to have children. And those children will be counted as children of Mahlon's and of Elimelech. It says, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren from the gate of his place. And ye are witnesses unto this day. So that's the kinsman redeemer custom is explained right there as to why he, was a closer kinsman, why that was important, when he took off the shoe, what that meant. So we get it all explained to us. It's kind of interesting because it's peculiar to this date and time, and this is the time of the judges, okay? And so, verse 11, and all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel, and do thou worthily in Ephrathah, and be famous in Bethlehem. So the judgment response is, we give our blessing. And let thy house be like the house of Pharez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman. And remember, Tamar had to play the harlot to get Pharez to have a child with her. And it was her right. Her husband was dead. And so she played the harlot in order to have him do the right thing, which is be a kinsman redeemer. And he came in and she required of him his staff and his bracelet, which would be have a signet on it that he would press into wax to seal things, or clay to seal things. And she disappears. I said, looked all over to find where this harlot went to. Well, she was right there by the road. Did anybody know? No, we never saw anyone. And then she comes in pregnant. And they're going to kill her because she is pregnant outside the bounds of marriage, outside the bounds of the customs. And then she says, you're the one. And here's the proof as they're about to kill her. Here's your bracelet and here's your scepter you gave me. Oops. He said, you are much more righteous than I. And she bore a son. And that son's name is Judah. Okay. Very interesting. So, so Boaz, verse 13, took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went unto her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son. And the woman said unto Naomi, all the women said, blessed be the Lord, who has not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel, that he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, and a nourisher of thine old age. For thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons, has borne him. So another blessing that's given to her by the women this time. And this time is to Naomi. And Naomi, who once wanted to change her name to Mara, bitterness, changed it back to pleasant. And so Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom and became nurse unto it. And the women, her neighbor, gave it a name. So they didn't name her. The women did. Said, there's a son born to Naomi, and they called his name Obed. And we know that Obed, he is the father of Jesse. And Jesse is the father of David, king of Israel. Now these are the generations of Pharez. Pharez begat Hezron. Hezron begat Ram. Ram begat Amminadab. Amminadab begat Nahshon. And Nahshon begat Salmon. And Salmon is the one that married Rahab the harlot after Jericho fell. And so Salmon begat Boaz. And Boaz begat Obed. And Obed begat Jesse. And Jesse begat David. And now we have full circle from the time of the entry into the promised land as Joshua came in to the time when the first real king of Israel was established, and his name was David, the great king of Israel, and his son Solomon, who built the temple. And so we have the full history. And the line of Jesus is very curious, right? But very fulfilling also. So we know that he came from many different bloodlines, but all of them were godly bloodlines. And so, all right, let's pray.